Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. It had been a few days since the news of the first gamma-muted creature disappearing hit the internet, and the panic was already spreading. People whispered about shadowy organizations, secret government projects, and vengeful scientists. Bruce Banner, better known to the world as the Hulk, had been keeping a low profile, but this was no longer something he could ignore. He was next, and he knew it. It was the feeling in the air, the subtle surveillance he felt, the quiet hum of technology following him, tracking him. Someone was out there, waiting. Peter Parker, on the other hand, was having a relatively normal day. As normal as one could get for a young man balancing life as a college student, photographer, and of course, Spider-Man. He'd heard about the disappearances too, but it hadn't been something on his radar until a message from Banner came through. "They were coming for me, Pete. I need to lay low, but I'll reach out when I can." That was all the message said. It was cryptic, unsettling, and ominous, like the calm before a storm. For Bruce, keeping calm was a necessity. It was a tightrope he walked every day, trying to keep the Hulk at bay, trying not to lose control. So he went into hiding, hoping to avoid whatever force was hunting down gamma-mutated creatures. The last thing the world needed was for the Hulk to be unleashed in the middle of New York City. That night, Peter lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the weight of Banner, some message, lingering in his mind. Who could be targeting someone as powerful as the Hulk? And more importantly, what did they want? As Spider-Man, he had fought his fair share of criminals. But this felt different. Whoever was behind this was smart, methodical. They knew how to operate in the shadows, and that meant Spider-Man would have to be one step ahead. 2 days later, while swinging through the city, Peter felt a familiar tingle in the back of his neck, a warning. His spider sense kicked in hard, directing his attention to the skies above. That sigh when he saw it, a sleek, black aircraft hovering ominously above the city skyline, its presence almost predatory. It wasn't T-Shield nor any government aircraft he recognized. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again. Another message from Banner. But this time, it wasn't Tiny call for help. It was a distress signal. Bruce was under attack. Peter's heart raced as he swung toward the outskirts of the city where Banner had been hiding. The safe house was a remote location shielded by dense trees and rock formation. It was a place where Bruce could hide out and avoid detection, but now it was being ripped apart. The aircraft hovered above the area, and from his vantage point, Peter could see flashes of Green the Hulk battling against something. By the time he reached the scene, it was chaos. Massive trees were uprooted, the ground torn apart, and in the middle of it all was the Hulk roaring in rage as he fought against a figure clad in sleek, black armor. The figure was smaller but fast, moving with surgical precision, using advanced technology that seemed to weaken the Hulk with every blow. Peter watched in horror as the figure deployed a strange weapon, something that emitted a faint bluish light. It wasn't just any weapon. It was designed to contain gamma energy. In seconds, the Hulk-sized, powerful roars were reduced to grunts of pain as the weapon latched onto him, forming a glowing net that constricted his movement. No, Peter whispered to himself. He needed to act fast. But before he could swing into action, the figure turned. It was the first time Peter got a good look at the man. He was tall, imposing with an air of confidence that sent chills down Peter's spine. The helmet covering his face revealed nothing, but the emblem on his chest, a stylized H, was enough to tell Peter exactly who this was. The Hulk Hunter. Spider-Man leaped into action, webbing toward the scene as the Hulk was dragged down, his body trembling under the force of the containment field. The Hulk Hunter saw Peter coming and reacted with startling speed, tossing a device into the air that emitted a disorienting wave of energy. Peter's spider sense flared, warning him of the danger, but it was too late. The wave hit him, sending him crashing to the ground in a daze. By the time he recovered, the Hulk Hunter was gone, so was Bruce. The silence that followed was deafening. Peter stood there, breathing heavily, his mind racing. How had this happened? The Hulk was one of the strongest beings on the planet, and this man, this Hulk Hunter, had taken him down, like it was nothing. Peter knew he was in over his head, but he also knew he couldn't choose and walk away. He had to save Bruce. He owed him that much. With a deep breath, Peter activated the tracker embedded in the webbing he managed to attach to the Hulk Hunter's armor before he was knocked out. It was faint, but it was a lead. He could still find them. He spent the next few hours tracking the signal, weaving through the city and beyond, pushing himself to his physical limit. Finally, the signal grew stronger. leading him to an isolated, heavily guarded facility on the outskirts of town. The building was enormous, a high-tech fortress surrounded by tall, electrified fences and patrolling security drones. Peter hid in the shadows, surveying the area. Getting inside wouldn't be easy. He couldn't just waltz into the front door, especially not with that kind of security. But if there was one thing Spider-Man was good at, it was improvising. He found a weak point in the security, a narrow gap in the perimeter that led to an underground ventilation shaft. It was a tight fit, but Peter had been in worse situations. He slipped inside, crawling through the ductwork, carefully avoiding detection. As he moved deeper into the facility, he couldn't help but notice the scale of the operation. Whoever the Hulk Hunter was working for had resources, serious resources. This wasn't just about capturing gamma-mutated beings. It was something bigger, something more sinister. Peter's journey through the labyrinthine facility was slow and methodical. He avoided cameras, hacked security systems, and quietly took down guards when necessary. But the deeper he went, the more unsettling it became. The walls were lined with containment cells, each one holding a different creature, all gamma-mutated, all trapped in various stages of sedation. It wasn't just Bruce who had been taken. The Hulk Hunter had been systematically hunting every gamma mutation on Earth. As Peter moved toward the heart of the facility, he began to piece together the Hulk Hunter samurai. This wasn't about money or power. The Hulk Hunter genuinely believed that gamma mutations were a threat to humanity, one that needed to be eliminated, no matter the cost. Finally, Peter reached the central chamber there. In the middle of the room was Bruce, contained in a massive energy-sealed pod. He was unconscious, the Hulk dormant for now, but Peter knew it wouldn't last. The Hulk Hunter was there too, standing over the pod, his back to Peter. For a moment, Peter hesitated. This wasn't just some run-of-the-mill villain. The Hulk Hunter was dangerous, prepared, and equipped with technology far beyond anything Peter had faced before. But he didn't have a choice. He had to act. With a deep breath, Peter launched himself into the room, webbing toward the Hulk Hunter at full speed. The element of surprise was on his side, at least it seemed that way. But the Hulk Hunter was ready. Spider-Man's attack came fast and hard, his web line striking the Hulk Hunter's armor with the familiar throw before yanking the assassin backward. But the Hulk Hunter wasn't an amateur. Even as Peter pulled him off balance, the Hulk Hunter twisted mid-air, using the momentum to land on his feet with surprising agility. He spun, firing off a barrage of energy blasts from his wrist-mounted gauntlet, the air crackling with each pulse of energy. Peter leapt into action, flipping through the air, narrowly dodging the shots, his spider sense flaring as he danced between the lethal beam. He needed to close the distance in a straight fight. Peter knew he didn't have the raw strength to overpower the Hulk Hunter head-on, especially not with all the high-tech weaponry at his disposal. But Peter wasn't just strong. He was fast, agile, and resourceful. He fired another web line, this time at the gauntlet, aiming to jam the Hulk Hunter's source weapon. The webbing stuck, and Peter yanked, pulling the assassin's arm wide. In the split second of hesitation, Peter charged forward, landing a solid kick to the Hulk Hunter as a chest plate. The impact knocked him back, but the armor absorbed most of the blow. "You think you can stop me?" The Hulk Hunter growled, his voice distorted through the helmet's SATCOM system. "You're a child playing hero. You have no idea what you're up against." Peter's eyes narrowed behind his mask. "I know enough. You're a guy with way too much tech and an ego to match. Let's see how tough you are without all your toys." Before the Hulk Hunter could react, Peter was on him again, using his webs to disarm him of one of his gauntlets. The assassin swung with his free hand, catching Peter in the side with a brutal punch that sent him skidding across the floor. Pain shot through Peter's hollow ribs, but he grit his teeth, pushing himself up. The Hulk Hunter was strong, and every move he made was calculated, efficient. This wasn't going to be easy. The room was filled with the low hum of the containment pod where Bruce lay unconscious, still in his Hulk form, but sedated by the powerful energy field around him. Peter knew he had to act fast. If Bruce woke up in this state, the Hulk could tear the place apart. And as much as Peter needed the Hulk's strength, he knew he couldn't let that happen. There were too many unknowns about the Hulk Hunter set base, and one wrong move could end in disaster. The Hulk Hunter lunged again, this time pulling out a secondary weapon, a blade made of pure energy, crackling with blue light. He slashed at Peter with deadly precision, but Peter sensed reflexes. were too quick. He flipped out of the way, shooting a web line to the ceiling to gain some height. You don't get it, do you? The Hulk Hunter taunted, following Peter's movements with unnerving calm. Gamma mutations are a plague. They uncontrollable. They dangerous. Banner is just the beginning. The Hulk needs to be put down for good. Peter swung low, dropping behind the Hulk Hunter and yanking the blade from his hand with a well-aimed web. And who made you the judge of that, Banner? Saved the world more times than I can count. Banner as a ticking time bomb. The Hulk Hunter snapped, spinning to face Peter once more. All of them are. It's not a question of if they lose control, it's on when I am doing what needs to be done. Peter, as fists clenched, he heard this kind of rhetoric before from villains who thought they were doing the right thing, from people who believed they were above everyone else, making decisions for the world without a second thought. The Hulk Hunter was no different, just another person trying to play God. You were wrong, Peter said, his voice low but firm. You don't get to decide whose size worth saving. With a final burst of speed, Peter launched himself at the Hulk Hunter once again, this time aiming for the control panel near the containment pod. If he could disable it, he could free Bruce and turn the tide of the fight. But the Hulk Hunter was one step ahead. He intercepted Peter mid-leap, slamming him into the ground with enough force to leave Peter gasping for breath. For a moment, Peter lay there, dazed, his vision swimming. The Hulk Hunter loomed over him, the energy blade back in his hand, ready to strike. But Peter's spider sense flared again, giving him just enough warning to roll out of the way as the blade came down, carving a deep gouge into the floor where Peter had been lying. I am done playing with you, Spider-Man, the Hulk Hunter growled. You should, then stayed out of the... Peter gritted his teeth, his body aching, but he wasn't out of tricks yet. As the Hulk Hunter raised the blade for another strike, Peter fired a quick web to the control panel, yanking it down in a shower of sparks. The containment field around Bruce flickered, then went dark. The Hulk Hunter froze, realizing what had just happened. A low guttural growl echoed through the room as Bruce's body began to stir. His eyes snapped open, glowing with an intense green light. The Hulk was awake. Before the Hulk Hunter could react, the Hulk roared, breaking free from the now deactivated pod with a surge of strength that sent metal and debris flying. The assassin turned to face his new opponent, but it was too late. The Hulk lunged at him, swatting him aside like a rag doll. The Hulk Hunter crashed into the wall, his armor cracking under the force of the impact. He struggled to get up, but the Hulk was relentless. With another powerful swing, the Hulk sent the Hulk Hunter flying across the room, smashing into a bank of computers. The room shook with the force of the blow, and for a moment, everything went still. Peter pulled himself to his feet, his body aching, but he couldn't help the sense of relief that washed over him. Bruce was back, and with the Hulk on their side, the fight was all but over. The Hulk Hunter lay motionless on the ground, his armor sparking and damaged, his weapons destroyed. Peter approached cautiously, webbing the assassin's arms and legs to ensure he wouldn't be getting up anytime soon. The Hulk stood over the defeated Hulk Hunter, his breathing heavy, his eyes still glowing with rage. But Peter stepped forward, placing a hand on the Hulk's arm. "Bruce," he said, quietly, "it's not over. We got him." For a tense moment, the Hulk's gaze flicked between Peter and the unconscious assassin. Then slowly, the tension in his massive frame began to ease. The green light in his eyes dimmed, and within moments Bruce Banner stood in the Hulk's place, breathing heavily but in control. Peter let out a breath. He didn't realize he'd been holding you okay. Bruce nodded, though he looked exhausted. "Thanks to you, I don't know what I'd have done. You don't have to do this alone," Peter interrupted, offering a reassuring smile. "You never have to." Together they turned to the Hulk Hunter, who remained unconscious on the ground, his armor sparking and broken. Whoever he was, his mission to hunt down gamma mutations had ended here. But as Peter stared down at the fallen assassin, he couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the last they see of him or others like him. "Come on," Peter said, glancing at Bruce. "Let's get out of here before this place comes down." Bruce nodded, and together they made their way out of the facility, leaving the Hulk Hunter and his high-tech operation in ruin.